Mason Goldman will be back in action today, but Reuben Foster was a game-time scratch. He will not be here, Chris.
Thank you very much. And week 6 underway as the kick sails through the end zone. Chris Thompson back there to receive. We'll get a look at Washington's 25-yard line. Chris Thompson the back. Rob Kelly is inactive. And they run to the receiver Crowder, who's going to get a first down up across the 35-yard line. After a 10-yard pickup, Crowder in motion again. Chris Thompson straight ahead. Ball is loose and the Redskins are on it. Back at the 36-yard line, and Trent Williams making a big play early. Down. Pressure coming. He has to unload it to Thompson, who's got plenty of room with a first down. And he's all the way down to the 42-yard line of San Francisco. Ryan Grant in motion to the top of your screen. Cousins to throw. Catch made. Terrell Pryor. Samaje Perine, the rookie from Oklahoma. Bigger back. Gets the football. Waits for an opening, but there's not much there. Gruden is back calling plays as the head coach. They only need a yard from the 32. Cousins to throw. Catch made by Perine. And down the sideline he goes. Ball comes out once he was out of bounds. Marked out between the 16, 17-yard line. Thompson squirts through a hole. Gets down around the 10-yard line. Thompson as a receiver, bottom of your screen. Cousins to the middle of the field. Complete. And that is a Redskin touchdown, Josh Doctson.
Just because they don't have Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson on the outside this season doesn't mean they don't have playmakers. Right here, work in the middle. First-round draft pick. Finally starting to become the player, and he's not just a vertical guy now. That's where his game is really starting to emerge.
And has come on strong here to give the Redskins an opening drive, opening quarter lead. Dustin Hopkins.
Team struggle coming out. That's a really nice drive for a team that had a bye week last week. Very crisp.
Dustin Hopkins drives us through the back of the end zone. No chance for Victor Bolden to return. From the 25-yard line, Marquise Goodwin just across the 30-yard line.
See if we can expand that throughout the offense.
Second down 4, Hyde. Knocked down around the 31 by Stacy McGee.
They're at third down here, hustling up to the line of scrimmage.
Boyer from the pocket, floats one, in between a couple of Redskin defenders, and Hyde never had a chance, but there's a flag down. 2, one at the 47 and one at the 42.
They have 2 separate penalties here, so watch. We have some pass interference on the outside.
Both by the defense. Holding. Number 26, decline. Personal foul. Hit to a defenseless player. Number 39, accepted. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Penalty moves it to the 45, and on first down, Hyde is smothered by Zach Brown. Boyer got his team to the line in a hurry. Looked like the Redskins didn't have the right defensive personnel that they wanted. Second and 12. Boyer, middle of the field, knocked away at the 40. Boyer to midfield. Can't advance it any further. George Kittle, the rookie tight end, and it's fourth down. Lee Pinion had a terrific season so far. Jamison Crowder, he's been busy, of course. Fair catch waved for at the 15 of Washington. Crowder in motion. Chris Thompson the pitch. And gets up across the 16-yard line. If there should be a problem for Williams. After a gain of 4, Cousins from the pocket and overthrows Ryan Grant.
Got that flair for that Seattle defense in his background.
Cousins for Grant and overthrows him. 2 49ers in the area.
Takes over under center. Chris, Joe, and Laura.
We appreciate that, Carissa. More on that throughout the day. Unfortunate for Aaron Rodgers, Packer, and NFL fans. But the Viking defense ferocious. And here comes the flag. Most penalized team in the NFL is San Francisco.
Ball start. Offense. Number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Backed up at the 34 now. Carlos Hyde dancing around, and a productive run up across the 41-yard line. And I like Burrito. I just want to play more. Been bothered by a hip, but has played through it. Catch made and then dropped. That's the veteran Garrett Selleck. Boyer in the pocket. He goes down.
Coordinator talked about inside.
Comes in with 2 sacks already. Greg Minuski, who spent some time in San Francisco. Defensive coordinator here in Washington now as the punt rolls to the 27-yard line. Chris Thompson cuts back, makes something out of that to get up to the 33.
Around league-wide with all the top elite quarterbacks.
Playing under that franchise tag. Pass complete. Knocked down right at the marker is Terrell Pryor. Samaje Perine gets the carry. Knocked down. Playing a little bit more than that first game when they fell behind against the Eagles. Cousins hangs in the pocket. Crowder makes the low catch and dives for the first down. Looks like he has enough for it, but we'll check the spot. And he is stopped short of the first down. Jaquoski Tart coming up from his safety spot. But a big defensive stop by San Francisco. Trent Taylor waving for the fair catch.
Last 2 possessions, kind of spotty for the Washington Redskins.
Couldn't convert on 3rd and a yard. Hit as he released the ball. And are they going to call that a fumble? Swearinger took it into the end zone. And they are ruling it a fumble and touchdown, so this will be reviewed.
It is when it comes out. It went back. Did it start coming forward?
Looks like a forward pass. And the way that arm was going forward, I don't know why you wouldn't rule that a forward pass.
Previous play is going to be reviewed. Incomplete pass versus a fumble and a touchdown.
Thank you very much, Mike. John Perry, our referee, has taken a closer look.
I didn't even get to say hi to him.
After reviewing the play, with possession, the quarterback's arm was going forward. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be second down. Please reset the game clock to 1:48. 1:48 on the game clock, please.
Carlos Hyde turns the corner, gets up around the 20-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down. Pass complete, but short of the first down. No team has ever lost 3 straight games in overtime. Jamison Crowder, fair catch at the 36. 6-yard punt, no return. Cousins with time and open. Terrell Pryor, first down. Perine, big hole, and blast inside the 45 of San Francisco. Remains the back after a pickup of 8. Cousins throw. Crowder gets the first down, stepping out of bounds. First down from the 40. Chris Thompson thrown down. Eric Armstead got into the backfield, and that is a loss of 8 or 9 yards. 2nd and 19 for Cousins. Jordan Reed inside the 40, gets some of that yardage back. It'll bring up 3rd down. Side of the quarterback, Cousins. First down, Reed to the 25. Here comes a flag. Cousins gets rid of it. Chasing him out of bounds over on that 49ers sideline just to make sure was DeForest Buckner.
Offside. Defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Carissa Thompson coming up with an update. Chris Thompson with a first down.
We got 180!
Cousins, Jordan Reed gets down inside the 3-yard line of the Niners.
180!
Cousins fakes and throws incomplete. Trying to go to Pryor. P-line the back. Cousins the football. For the rookie, he's got it into the end zone, and are they going to give him the touchdown? It is ruled a touchdown, Washington. Samaje Perine as a receiver out of the backfield.
And watch him survey the field. He's going to go through everybody. Here's the play action. That's going to be your last option. Samaje Perine on the outside. He checked everybody else, and what that does is it gets the defense to kind of sag into the end zone. You can see as he's scanning, all of a sudden you forget that little play action.
Chip out of the way with one arm to get in, and the extra point by Hopkins makes it 14-0.
Eric Armstead made a good play out near midfield. A 9-yard loss on first down. So it's 2nd and 19. They let the Redskins get out of that hole and continue on down the field for the touchdown.
The defender showing his strength to get into the end zone on that pass from Cousins. Pass is incomplete.
I know that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, that was one of their first signings, was to go out and get that fullback for that offense.
Hoyer deep down the sideline and incomplete. Trying to go to Pierre Garçon, the former Redskin. Hoyer. Catch made at the 46 for a first down. Aldrick Robinson had to reach up and grab it. The 21, best offensive play by the 49ers today, who trail 14-0. And what a grab there.
5, be a big factor in losing those close games like you have right here. 2nd and 10 is not easy.
Offense number 77, 5-yard penalty, second down.
2nd and 15 is 5 yards harder, obviously. It's growth and maturity in a new offensive system with different cadence and different verbiage.
Hoyer over the head of Garçon. Numbers not good all year for the Niners and not good today against the Redskin defense. Goodwin, the target, he held on this time, but well short of the first down. Bradley Pinion, fair catch again. Crowder, the sun has come out here at FedEx Field. Cousins on a little screen to Chris Thompson with blockers everywhere. And he's all the way up to the 35-yard line. Perine, the rookie running back who had the touchdown catch moments ago, gets the carry. And across the 35, let's check in for another game break with Carissa Thompson. The way things look in the NFC North, the Lions battling the Saints today. Whistle before the play. Flag down.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Cousins. And that leaping interception by Jimmy Ward. And still going. He's going to run this all the way back. Down around the 30 of Washington. What a dive from Ward to come up with that pick cleanly. All hit the ground.
Previous play is going to be reviewed.
And there it looks like it dragged against the ground, the nose of the football. That most recent replay showed a pretty clear angle. Kyle Shanahan referred
After reviewing the play, it's an incomplete pass. Please reset the game clock. 6:47. 6:47 on the game clock, please.
Still a third down for Cousins. And going deep, way over everybody. And this one is picked off. He floated it, and Rashard Robinson ran under it as if he was the receiver, who played well in the preseason. Hand off, Matt Breida, replacing Carlos Hyde. It's just short of the third. Matt Breida, the rookie from Georgia Southern. Got more snaps last week. Nice catch there for a first down. Garrett Selleck, who had a drop earlier, gets it across the 42-yard line. Back in the late 70s and through the 80s, much of that with Joe Gibbs. Beathard to throw. Breida doesn't hold it. 2nd and 10. Almost intercepted. Already been a change here. Game 6 at quarterback for the 49ers. Beathard's throw. Incomplete. George Kittle should have had it. Another drop.
Tom Rathman.
Hey, I knew you'd get Roger Craig. Let's go back. Could have rattled them off. Fair catch called for. Redskins take over. On first down, Thompson gets a first down across the 25-yard line. Then Cousins, a 3-year starter at Michigan State before drafted here in the 4th round. Middle of the field is open, slipping a tackle, Mack Brown. The touchdowns and a pick. Brown remains the back. He gets the carry and gets up to the 40-yard line. Worth mentioning that Rob Kelly, the primary back, here comes some flags. Boy, a handful of them. Kelly is inactive with that ankle injury.
After the play was over, personal foul, offense number 75, 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
1st and 22 pushes the Redskins back to the 25-yard line of Washington. Chris Thompson slips a tackle, and there he goes. Chris Thompson is loose. Down to the 25 of the 49ers. The 49ers have the 2nd most missed tackles in the NFL. Chargers have the most missed tackles. They don't miss here on a sack of Cousins. Solomon Thomas, the rookie.
He resting that knee, but he's giving fits to Trent Williams.
Thompson knocked down around the 30. Empty backfield. Cousins hesitates and incomplete. From 48 yards away, Hopkins, it's up there, it's out there, it's good. And it's now 17-0 Redskins.
Sustaining drives.
Victor Bolden, if he has the chance to return, and he won't, so out to the 25-yard line. He's 1 out of 4 so far. A high throw. He did have a couple of drops, though, in fairness to when he first came in on that previous series. Knocked to the ground here. Long-time Redskin. Time for Beathard. Another high throw, but leaping up to get it. Marquise Goodwin, and this time hangs on to it for a first down.
Become a little bit contagious throughout this offense. Nice catch by Marquise Goodwin.
Middle of the field is open for a first down to the 25. George Kittle, the tight end who had a drop a moment ago, hangs on here. Iowa rookie to Iowa rookie. A gain of 31 yards. In field goal range, a place they haven't been today. Trying to go with Hyde. Good block downfield. Carlos Hyde gets it down to the 13, 14-yard line. Timeout. 49ers. The spark has been ignited. Timeouts for the 49ers. Beathard's throw. Incomplete. Beathard practically ran into a sack. Open in the middle of the field, Garcon. The ball pops out. Or is that a helmet? It was a helmet. Came flying off. Looked like the football. Did he hang? You know, a player
Comes up to make the hit, and they drop.
Wow. That is Nicholson's helmet. This is after the play, going after Garcon.
There you go.
By rule, injury inside 2 minutes is a charge. Team timeout. Washington now has 1 timeout remaining.
All right, so we'll get...
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 36. That is his first towards 2 fouls and an ejection for the day. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
And a 1st and goal.
Play game, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, see, that's a rookie mistake, whether it's a rookie head coach or a rookie quarterback. Now a running play with the amount of time and timeouts would be risky. Beathard floats one for the end zone and incomplete. Back at the 7, 2nd and goal. Beathard, pressure coming, and hit as he throws. It'll be 3rd down. Now the 49ers have to throw. Beathard does. Not in the end zone. Kittle was able to hold on. Clock's running. Carlos Hyde, touchdown 49ers. After all that, C.J. Beathard takes the 49ers into the end zone after handing it off to Carlos Hyde.
You're heavy over that side anyways. You've out-leveraged them. They didn't really match that. Mason Foster can't get off the block. That was easy. That was well executed by the San Francisco 49ers going in.
The extra point. It's a 10-point game, 17-7.
Fur at the start of the game winning the toss. It gives them back-to-back possessions here. Can C.J. Beathard continue that momentum they had at the end of the first half?
That kickoff goes through the end zone. Beathard will lead the offense out to the 25-yard line, down to the field, and Laura Oakman. San Francisco grabbing a pick but couldn't do anything with it. Carlos Hyde gets up near the 30-yard line.
Talked about minimizing mistakes, execution, things that are within their control, they have to do a better job of.
Hyde has nowhere to go and steps out of bounds. On a 3rd and 8. Pass is caught and good enough for the first down. Carlos Hyde.
Biggest things is he will stay in that pocket, and the courage in the pocket is one of the things that coaches are always looking for, and C.J. Beathard showed that numerous times in his career in Iowa.
Another completion to Carlos Hyde. 3 Super Bowl teams, 2 of those coming here in Washington with Joe Gibbs. Matt Breida short of the first down, it appears. Monte Nicholson, who had the helmet come off and left the field injured, he's back out there for the Redskins in the secondary. Matt Breida and the Redskin defense puts up a wall. And good thing they asked for the measurement. It's a first down. May work into C.J. Beathard's favor. Sideline throw. Matt Breida showing he can catch it as well as run it. And gets the first down at Indianapolis. Gets another one here. Showing some of that speed all the way to the 30 of Washington.
All right, C.J. Beathard over Brian Hoyer. If we're going to do it, let's go with our young guys.
Beathard wanted to go deep. And he's going to get sacked. Unless they say they're going to rule him in the grass. Ryan Kerrigan got him.
You're preparing for the concepts and the schemes that Kyle Shanahan uses.
2nd and 21, juggled. Hyde eventually held on to it, but may have lost some running room if he could have caught it the first time he got his hands on it. Extra pressure coming. Beathard throws and knocked away. 14 of 14. 31 straight, longest active streak in the NFL. It's a wobbler, and it's good from 52 yards away. Francisco 10 points since Washington last ran a play, and every kick in this game has either been a touchback or a punt has been a fair catch. Samaje Perine, the running back. To the 25, back near the line of scrimmage, had his first NFL touchdown on a reception.
180! What's up?
Cousins, pressure coming, hit as he throws. Eli Harold got to him. Almost had the Niners jump. The blitz is picked up and open for the catch, but short of the first down is Ryan Grant. And there is a flag down back in the offensive backfield area.
Illegal use of hands, hands to the face, defense. Number 35, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
180! What's up?
Just across the 31-yard line, Chris Thompson falling forward to the 35. 2nd down 6, Cousins on the move. And toward the sideline. It'll be third down. Extra pressure coming. Cousins gets the pass off short of the first down. Excellent tackle as Jamison Crowder was brought down by K'Wan Williams.
Challenged the ruling of not down by contact. We'll review the play.
And they were going to advance the ball all the way into 49er territory at the 48-yard line. I thought I heard a whistle.
Here's K'Wan Williams on the tackle. Let's see. Yeah, he's down right there.
He's down right there.
He's down, and he's down right there.
Okay.
And he's down right there.
Under the hood, John Perry.
After reviewing the play, the runner's right knee and shin was down. There is no charge timeout. San Francisco.
Who has tremendous speed and toughness for a guy 5'8". No fair catch. And there he goes. What a return by Taylor to midfield. C.J. Beathard has led the charge here to get him back into this as Carlos Hyde gets inside the 45-yard line.
In that one. So this team has been close, and the Redskins are letting them right back into this one again this afternoon.
Raheem Mostert comes in as running back, and he gets the pitch. Hyde gets the football, and the Redskins make sure he goes nowhere.
They'll be running the majority of the scout looks. You don't know how much Kyle Shanahan exposed him to during the week.
Catch made there inside the 20 by George Kittle.
He's doing this against a team that was just outstanding in the first quarter and a half.
3rd and 5, and he's sacked. The Redskin defense led by Matt Ioannidis. 47 yards. He hit from 52 a moment ago and has not missed this year. This one is off the mark. His string comes to an end. He's leading a group of all the Bay Area sports teams, donating over $100,000 to relief. We're thinking about you. Vernon Davis brought down at the 42-yard line. Ball comes out at the end. The 49ers have it. It's a takeaway for San Francisco, and Jimmy Ward is into the end zone for a 49er touchdown. On a slow developing play.
Slow finishing.
Well, the Redskins thought Vernon Davis was down, but it was pulled away.
The play was over. He's down right there. I think he's down. I think the forearm is down before that ball comes out.
Yeah, Ray Armstrong was pulling the ball. That's what I think they're going to look at on replay here. Here's a better view, Darryl.
Previous play will be reviewed. The first part of the play stands as called. However, near the goal line, the returner's left toe stepped out of bounds at the 2-yard line. The ball will be spotted at the 1.5-yard line. 1st and goal, San Francisco.
Good hustle by Kirk Cousins. It's going to be the push by Kirk Cousins. You saw the little tap by the left foot before he stretched the ball to break the plane.
Carlos Hyde, touchdown 49ers. His second of the day, and it's a whole new ball game.
And both of these plays, whether we go back to the 4th and 1 at the end of the first half or that play right there, I mean, very easy by the San Francisco offense to punch that in.
Defense of the 49ers has rallied around that moment as well. And with this extra point from Robbie Gould, who just missed a field goal, where the 49ers would have the lead.
It's just a great job at the goal line by Trent Brown. I mean, he just collapses the right side. Can you finish this? They haven't been able to finish the games all season long, especially the last 4 games.
It's up to them to respond. Chris Thompson will lose a yard. Quarterback change and turnovers have changed this game. Cousins gets a first down, protects the football to the 43-yard line. 39 of the Miami Dolphins. That was an 18-yard run. Chris Thompson goes nowhere.
Into the game, so they've got that confidence to do what they've done here this afternoon.
Cousins, incomplete. The extra pressure is picked up. Cousins on target for a first down. Ryan Grant at the 40. Cops in the back. Too far out there for Josh Doxson, who had a touchdown catch in the opening drive.
And they weren't sleeping on him.
Thompson brought down by Brock Coyle. Begin the fourth quarter tie. Pass is caught by Chris Thompson. Slips a tackle. Inside the 30. The Redskins first down. Thompson smothered and thrown down.
C.J. Beathard for taking the opportunity, being prepared when that opportunity presented itself.
After a loss of one, pressure from the outside. Cousins with time. Ryan Grant has it. He's inside the 20 and a little further down the sideline with a first down. Thompson to the 11.
On all cylinders, they're tough to stop.
Cousins, he's got Vernon Davis down around the 5-yard line, stays in bounds. Piron, the rookie, is in. Cousins keeps, gets a few yards closer. Jimmy Ward kept him out of the end zone. Nowhere. Cousins knocked away. Fourth down. Essentially an extra point. That's worth 3. And the Redskins do take the lead, but it's a narrow one. Victor Bolden back to try and return. Nobody has been able to today. The kickers have been that good. And this once again will sail through the end zone. The intangible, Darryl, was the change at quarterback. And the defense rises to the occasion against Carlos Hyde. On 2nd and 11. What a catch, one-handed by Pierre Garçon, falling forwards down at the 35. Beathard's throw, almost intercepted. He may be getting his first win as a rookie quarterback for the Bears. Can Beathard do that for the Niners? Carlos Hyde knocked down across the 40-yard line. Beathard had to unload that early. And incomplete for Aldrick Robinson. Crowder watches it bounce, grabs it, and has some room before he's knocked down across the 15-yard line.
You don't want a 3 and out, and I'll tell Coach Gruden the answer's not on that play sheet you were looking at. The answer's out there with the 11 guys that were in that huddle.
He comes out throwing. Cousins completes, goes back to Jordan Reed, who we hadn't heard from in a while. Chris Thompson is running back, over 100 receiving yards. To throw again. And that's Piron, who gets across the 25-yard line. Failed earlier. They need a yard. Piron into a crowd. And maybe that extra lunge from a guy who's 236 or so got it. Pressure coming, throw open, and there he goes. Vernon Davis. Looping and circling, and eventually out of bounds at the 23 of the 49ers. Cousins for Pryor, a little bit too long. Chris Thompson gets inside the 20, knocked down around the 17-yard line, stays in bounds, clock running. Catch at the 10 for a first down. He drilled it into Ryan Grant. Thompson will lose yardage. Kirk Cousins drills for Ryan Grant, incomplete with a flag down.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 24, 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
When he was out of position, he used that to get back on top to make the play, so I agree with that one.
All right, gonna call that on 1st and goal. Cousins has it. Kirk Cousins, touchdown Redskins.
You know, you just don't think about the athleticism of Kirk Cousins because he's such a pocket-style passer, but we've seen it a couple of times today, and he is a weapon when you get into the red zone. The hardest thing to do is defend those zone reads, and Kirk Cousins gives you that ability along with his ability to throw from the pocket. So just a great job. Solomon Thomas, he's going to go right in. 94, he's going down. He pulls it out. There's no contain there on the run. It's an easy walk-in for Kirk Cousins.
Fun to go with 2 touchdown passes. And that extra point is not good by Dustin Hopkins. Under 3.5 to play. C.J. Beathard to bring the offense out to the 25-yard line.
A little bit inconsistent from a offense, defense, special teams performance today.
Incomplete, trying to go to Garcon.
To create that spark, he decided the time was then, and it's really paid dividends for him.
Catch made, that's Garcon, who fights hard, but brought down by Zach Brown initially. On 3rd and 8 here, in the shadows of FedEx Field. Open. Trent Taylor gets the first down.
An opportunity to get off the field.
Underneath, at the 41-yard line, is Breida, and has carried the most on the ground for the 49ers today. Beathard to try and get the first down, and does, and then gets out of bounds. And he'll throw on the run. Wide open. Aldrick Robinson. Touchdown 49ers. Hold everything. Beathard with an athletic move. Looked like he was going to run. But completes 45 yards to Robinson for 6.
Aldrick Robinson right there, but you're exactly right, Chris. You know, he just ran on the last one. Boy, everybody just turns him free. Fabian Moreau thinks there's safety help over the top, but
Redskins secondary without Norman, without Breland. Breland hurt during the course of this game. They're starting corners, and it showed big on that play.
Timeouts takes about 5 seconds per play.
Brentley Pinion faked the onside. He's going the other way on the onside. It is gathered in by the Redskins at the 46 of San Francisco. It didn't fool Fabian Moreau. P. Ryan, the rookie, they trusted with the football to the 46 timeout, so the 49ers will have one remaining. P. Ryan waiting for a block. And he gets down to the 42, and we'll get the last timeout from San Francisco. P. Ryan does not get the first down to the 40, and the clock runs when the Beathard move took place. So right at 58 seconds, the delay of game to set up Tressway and see if he can drop it inside the 20. Brought in off the bench in the second quarter, trying to rally the 49ers here on the home field of the Redskins. It's not a great job there. It's going to come out to the 20.
Interesting decision to just free kick that away through the end zone.
Or try to at least pin him inside the 10. Beathard's throw. Open Garcon. And he's out of bounds. No timeouts for the 49ers. Carlos Hyde steps out of bounds around midfield. Remember, a missed extra point by Dustin Hopkins, or it would be a 3-point game. Beathard's throw way out of bounds in the area of Trent Taylor. On 3rd and 4. Knocked away and out of bounds. Pierre Garcon tried to make a dramatic catch off the deflection.
Well, it's one of these going to the ground now, so you've got to look at control and then whether he got a body part inbounds. I think the shin is down inbounds, and then he maintains control of the ball when he falls out of bounds. So I think you're looking at a reversal here.
After reviewing the play with the right knee down, with possession, it's a completed cut. at the 40.5-yard line.
Beathard's throw knocked in the air again and out of bounds. Beathard's throw knocked away by Dunbar. And there's a flag that came late. I don't think Dunbar knows it.
They're signaling offensive pass interference.
Pass interference, offense, number 15. 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
I mean, this is a monstrous call because you're now out of even what was a long-range field goal before. C.J. Beathard, incomplete. You're out of timeouts in the area of Garcon, and now it's fourth down. Only other time they started 0-6, Bill Walsh, his first year, 1979. Intercepted. The Redskins with the closeout from Kendall Fuller. Another close defeat for San Francisco, and the Redskins push themselves to 3-2. Not easy, but the Redskins go to 3-2 with a 26-24 win over the 0-6 49ers.